Okay, so we know that risk management is important. We have a risk appetite to manage it against. What are the key components of risk management? So here I simplify that as the following key components. First, you need to have the policy and the strategy. Policy is what you do, what you don't do. For example, regarding the consumers with no credit history, with a thin file, are you open business for them or not? Strategy is something you can manage based on the situation, right? So, for example, it's a credit score cutoff. Right now, I'm taking in credit score FICO about 600. So next year, the economy is good. I might lower it to 580. That's something can be changed relatively more frequently. That strategy policy usually stays in place for multiple years. It still can be changed, but not as often. Then you have a model, right? So everybody's familiar with the credit scorecard, your FICO score, internal customer score. They're developed based on the model. Okay, so also there are some other scores predicting bankruptcy risk, fraud risk, even the profitability. So that model also goes into the strategy and the policy. Okay, so for retail business, it's a volume business. That means for each product, maybe the lender doesn't earn too much, right? Maybe just a couple $100, $500, $600, but there's a huge volume, millions of accounts, so it adds up pretty quickly. So that means everything has to run automatically, right, on system. You cannot afford to do everything manually. Although there's always a manual process, right? So, for example, for origination, you have probably 98, 99% are automatic decision. There's always some exceptions you have to review individually, asking customer for documentation, so things like that. But system is very important. It's a huge enabler of the retail lending business. Once the strategies are running, so the account balance changes every day, payments coming in, that generates a lot of data, right? So over almost every second, every minute, every day. So that data is a huge information gold mine for you to analyze in order to get insights, right? So drive actions. So based on the data, so there are multiple reports generated. So analysts and management rely on these reports to get a sense of what's going on. They get a good handle of the portfolio dynamics, so they can think about further actions to grow the profit, manage risk. So if we summarize that, risk management is about risk mitigation, which is done through the policy, strategy, and the models. You manage them well, so that's the objective. They implement in system, they generate data. So you need to measure your risks, right, to see whether it's within the risk appetite in your plan, right? Then once you measure the risk, you might find some gaps. So you identify new risk. So that's through the different reports, right? Then for the newly identified risk gap, so what do? You go back to the beginning, you design new policy, strategies, models to mitigate that risk. So because the economy, the environment is always changing, right? Different new products, different competition, different customer behaviors. So you just need to go through this process on a regular basis, right? Mitigate the risk, measurement risk, identify new risk. You go back to mitigate it further. So that's the key components of risk management.